Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday night. Welcome into the Bama Standard, your favorite source for Alabama football content. Before we do anything, I want you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, get in the live chat. If you're already in that live chat, let's get it rowdy tonight. Let us know what you think. Feedback is the key. If you're watching the replay, get in the comment section. Let us know what you think. As always, we are brought to you by Workspace Solutions. I'm your host, Justin Riley, and with me, as always, is the living legend. When Ric Flair said to be the man, woo, you got to beat the man. He is that man and also an SEC champion, the Marvin Constant. And alongside him, always here to keep the lights turned on, the senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen M. Smith. Fellas, what's going on?
Hey. Another Tuesday.
Man, we almost to the month of June, fellas. We almost to that month of June.
I'm ready too. I got some places to go in June. Y'all gonna be missing me for a while.
Well, as long as you don't get deported again and we get a phone call, we're straight.
Trust me, if I get deported, y'all the last person I'm calling. I'm calling the deputy director of security for the FBI to come get me.
So we don't even get a postcard?
Why when I can call her?
I understand that, but at least a postcard.
You can't do nothing from me in another country. I know she'll get on the phone and make it happen.
Don't sell Stephen M. Smith short, man. He's got a lot of things going right for him. Hey, but we got a special guest that's returning back to us, surprisingly, after the nonsense we put him through last time. Stephen M. Smith, if you would, man, only you can properly introduce him, welcome him in the right way.
I mean, we had him on the last time. It was so much fun that we had to get him back on here again. The 2024 outstanding young outside linebacker out of Mobile. This guy's going to come in. He's going to really do some things for the University of Alabama. He's coming in the same class with Jalen Mbakwe and Julian Sand and Jeremiah Beaman. So many of these good kids from this area, but we bring him back in. My man, the dread head hanging low like Lil Wayne, young Weezy up in here. We're talking my man Sterling Dixon back in the building. What's going on, Sterling?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, is Mobile near Dothan?
It's Dothan probably about 3 hours away, 2-3 hours.
I think it's in Mobile.
Dothan's like going towards Florida.
Yeah, no, but I think it's in Mobile. Kevin Jackson asked me to play in his golf tournament in July, so I think I'll be in Mobile in July, man. I'm gonna have to pull up on you.
Well, definitely, we're gonna do that.
Take you to dinner. I can't say that on. Never mind. I'll hit you.
Hey, Stephen and Smith, since your voice box is already lit up, if you would, we got somebody else just joining. No, you got a good point there. We got another guest here, the pastor of pain himself, Corey Miller. If you would introduce him so I can bring him on the screen.
All right. We got one half of the great show, The Miller's Edge, which is going to be making that debut to Tide 100.9. We got somebody that's a real showstopper, was laying them hits on Emmitt Smith and others, playing for them big Giants. We got the father of Alabama, former Bama linebacker, Christian Miller. We got the real crack open that Miller time. We got Corey Miller in here. What's going on, my man?
Hey, hold on.
Boys, I'll tell you what. You guys will get.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. Before you get started, Mr. Miller, I heard y'all moving to Tide 107.9, right?
100.9.
100.9. Don't get politically correct on me once you get on Tide Station and start holding back.
Can't hear y'all.
I need the same energy that you've been giving all this time.
There we go. I got you.
Hey, bro. I don't hold back. I give it like I feel it.
That's all.
I mean, we've been on the last 2 days, so you's probably working out doing some curls or something. But we've been on the last 2 days. Been good stuff. Yeah, we there's no political correctness here. It's just real talk, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Don't succumb to the pressures of the
now, I'm not gonna go like make T-shirts like you did. I mean,
Hey, I get bored sometimes. I have to find ways to
You know
entertain.
what I mean? You can't go doing that.
Speaking of that, Sterling, you better do your thing, or Marvin is going to print up T-shirts about you. That's what he does.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
I would not. I would not do that. It was Coach. That was Pete. Pete was terrible. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Pete was terrible, man.
Real quick,
I'm not
hey, welcome
disagreeing
in,
with
Bo
that.
Scarborough, 2-time national champion, best dude to tote the rock. What's going on, sir?
Man, that was weak how he introduced you, Bo. He gave you the flyby. He gave you.
Hey, I like the shirt. Be about your business. I like the shirt, Bo.
Hey,
Nice.
hey, Bo, he gave you that. I'm putting $2 on Pump 8 introduction, real quick and painless.
All right, Stephen, if you would do the Stephen A. Smith diesel entry.
Justin, that was the weakest intro that you ever gave me. Like you introduced me like you just trying to just get me on and get me out the way. Like,
All right. I'll go ahead and do it, Bo.
We're going to
I'll
start
go ahead
over.
and do it, Bo.
Justin, you fired. Steven, there
Go
you
ahead.
go.
Okay. All right. So we bring him in right now. He bought that business, got the clothing line shirt on. We're looking at the chairman of the USFL, the face of the USFL, the reason why the league is even existing anyway. The USFL champion, the 2-time national champion, one of the most incredible men to ever run the football in the history of Nick Saban coaching at Alabama. We got Bo Scarborough. Will fold you all like a piece of bad paper. Bo is in here.
Hey, that was much better than
Okay.
Steven with that $2 on Pump 8 and a Fago introduction that he gave you, Bo. He wrote you off real cheap.
But I want to add this to that intro. There's a handful of guys that came through there that ran the ball better than I did. And, you know, I got to get them guys their prop.
True.
Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, you know,
Marvin on occasions.
Marvin ain't play running back. He played fullback at Bama. He played linebacker at Bama. TJ Yeldon. You know, all those guys was great. And also Mark Ingram. You know, Eddie Lacy, Terry Grant, Roy Upchurch. You know, it's a handful of guys. Nudie, even though he played fullback, he did do a little bit of running back.
You gonna name every running back for the next 20 years?
What about Josh Jacobs?
Yeah.
King
Harris.
Drake? I mean, you just gonna name them all this morning? I mean, is that this evening?
I'm just saying, like,
Saran Stacy.
Yeah, I'm just saying I wasn't the best, but I was the baddest.
Okay.
All right. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
And then I got a new role in the USFL.
Okay.
What you got?
I am going to be the spokesman at the CBA bargaining agreement coming up this year. So I'm gonna speak for all 15.
Money.
So, Bo, since you're doing all the, you know, they're using your platform, your name, your image and likeness, NIL, if you will. You know, does the pay scale elevate by you doing all this different stuff? Because I mean, you look at AJ McCarron, right? He gets a lot of money because he's a big name. You're a big name for the Birmingham team, and you're doing other things. Do they take care of you, break you off for that?
Yeah, and the way how they got it is like if they get you doing work hours, they don't pay you for it. But if they get you on the outside of work hours, they do. So with me going into the new CBA, I'm gonna say that every guy should get paid for name, image, and likeness because y'all using our names, you know, to get people to come to the game. And some of these guys is not seeing some of this money, and you know, like you said, they using our name, image, and likeness, and they making a lot of money off of it. And you know, some of the guys are not seeing a penny from it, and that's gonna be one of my biggest argument going into the CBA. And there's a lot of things that that I'm gonna speak on, but I'm not gonna speak on it right now. But they're just a little bit of uh a little scenario of what's going on
Mhm.
in the USFL area, because I look at it at like this. Like I'm gonna tell them as well. If we keep getting a lot of guys complaining about the league, a lot of guys is gonna move on to the XFL. And I'm just being honest, because the XFL is about to up their roster to 90 to give guys chances to compete, and then knock it down to where just like the league do, they knock it down to 53. We're gonna have to knock it down to 50. Unless they choose to put more guys on the roster. And what's going on right now is that if these guys get on IR, they automatic on IR and they get sent home. So they get sent home. They doesn't get their living stipend, and they some of the teams, I don't know about all the teams. I know some of the teams don't let the guys come in and watch film. I know one of the guys, he called me and he was like, they telling me that I have to pay for my own ticket to come to the game. They won't even let me on the sideline. And I'm like, we got to get all that change, which we are gonna get a change, especially for guys like me and Dortez and Jay Newsom, all type of guys that speak and that they're gonna listen to, that they know that most of the guys in the league, look up to, because they know that we know all the rules and we know all the things that could possibly happen. And and a lot of guys getting told to get your surgery at the end of the year, try to play through it, get to the end, play through the end of the year. But once you play through it through the end of the year, after you get that surgery, then you get no workers' comp. So now you're done for. So you're just rehabbing, can't get a job because you're hurt, and now you're stuck, like doing nothing. Now you're in a bad position. But I didn't mean to take over the conversation of what you guys had going on. I just wanted to throw that out there, that that they made me part of that team to be able to go and talk in front of the CBA and complain about some things and tell them how many guys we have coming to us complaining, and that I don't want our guys going to the XFL because of something that's so simple that can be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, while you filing complaints, I need you to file one on Stephen M. Smith and who let him put that Alabama patch on that old Mississippi State shirt he got on. That ain't crimson, man.
Hey, look,
Ain't Alabama.
This ain't even no old Mississippi State shirt. This actually pop out better because we got this one, we got a silver one, we got a black one. So this one actually pops out better than the other two.
Mississippi State shirt.
Hey,
He's got a cowbell beside him, actually. So
actually, don't.
I want to talk to Sterling.
Yeah, hey,
That's what I'm talking
you
about.
open it up, Corey. First of all, welcome back. We're always glad to have you here. You're actually one of the most requested guests we have. So there you go, man.
You bring the heat.
You bring it, and we love the politically incorrectness of your content. But yeah, go ahead, open us up. Talk to Sterling.
Well, I just want to know, just tell me about yourself a little bit. I read a little bit what Justin's posted, and I know we play on the same side of the ball. I like you. You're laid back to me, and bro, you just sit back, you got the head, you got the dread rocking. Just tell me a little bit about yourself and what you looking to bring to the table.
Far as just my personality, I'm just like you said, I'm a laid back guy. Try to stay humble, stay out the way. Just be respectful, and that's really about it. And I got to switch. When I'm off the field, I kind of turn it off. Be a respectful guy, but when I'm on the field, I'm a dog. So on the field, I'm versatile. I can play linebacker, safety, whatever you need me to play. I'm a great pass rusher. That's what I love to do. I love getting after the quarterback, and I love just establishing my dominance. That's it.
I don't know if you want to go back
rushing
there.
that pass is where that money is. You know that. Getting the sacks.
Yeah, I don't know if he want to go back there to safety. There's some dudes that run a 4.2, 4.34 that run right.
Okay, then.
Well,
He's got some wheels.
I mean, the thing is, when you talk about a defensive player like him that could do a lot of different things, he lights up the face of a defensive coordinator, right? Because they could, especially in today's game, when you got an athletic dude like that can move him around, he can cover, he can play out in space, he can rush the pass, he can play the run. So it allows you to do a lot of different things defensively with him. When you bring that you need this type of guy today playing against these spread offenses that's going to spread you out. If you don't have linebackers that can run or athletic, they got good hips, and also can be able to blitz and or rush the passer, you're going to be in trouble. Coaches today not looking for one-dimensional guys. Think about how many one-dimensional linebackers you see playing college ball now. There are not too many of them.
Right. The game has changed. We're no longer in that day. Back when you played, you probably had a 4-1 pad with a roll of nickels in it out there knocking people out. That's long gone. You got to be versatile now. You got to be able to cover the back, the slot receiver, the tight end, as well as play the run. You got to be able to have every tool in your toolbox. You can't have one or two tools anymore and think you're going to be successful playing linebacker.
Well, the thing is, too, when I played, I played all the positions, to be honest with you. I played Mike, Sam, we call it Mo, weak inside linebacker, Sam, strong outside. Will was the weak side, which LT played, and I played on the strong side, but you had to be able to play them all. But again, it was a box game, right? Everything was between the tackles. We were used to playing backs like Bo. Christian Okoye, these big backs, man, banging it up in their Emmett, with big fullbacks, Daryl Johnston. We had, big dudes running the football. 230, 235. All our linebackers 250 plus because we played in the box. But now it's football on the track. That's basically what it is. So you got to be able to run and flip those hips and all that. So you talk about being the pass rusher, and that's where the money is. Don't let them coaches talk you into safety. Because when you talk about safety, they'll be like, "Ooh, we can find a lot of those guys." But work on that craft of rushing the passer. The people that's getting paid are your defensive ends that can rush the passer, your edge guys that can rush the passer, your left tackles that can block those pass rushers, quarterbacks. That's where the money is. What kind of work are you doing? When you do so many different things, you try to really master one of those things. Say, I want to be this guy. If I had to ask you, Sterling, what guy do you really want to be at the end of the day? Because I know just like most guys, when they do their hats and whatever things they do now and make their announcements, they go, I'm looking forward to 3 to 4 years, right? They're going to be gone. I'm going to the league. Most of them think that. What is that one thing you say, hey, this is what I got to do. I got to master. I got to work on because this is where I'm going to have a better chance to play at the next level.
I say inside linebacker, and then just coming out on rushing on third downs. Definitely inside linebacker because it's kind of new to me. I kind of played it this spring. I trained at it all during pretty much the little off season that we had. So I knew I was going to get ready to try to convert. So when I got to college, I wouldn't have no problem. So I feel like just honestly just getting a better feel for it. That's going to be the biggest thing. And just working on my pass rush ability and just trying to get better at that.
The reality of it is in today's game, you have to be versatile. That's a given. So whereas you coming in as an outside linebacker defensive end, you also have to be able to play in the middle and not in terms of playing a middle linebacker. A lot of these teams like to run what they call their jet package where they'll put 4 speed guys in there, to rush that passer. So you might be lined up over a guard or tackle. So you have to have that same skill set that you would have that middle linebacker hat in hand and putting a move on that guard or that tackle to get off him. So it's actually beneficial to have that in your toolbox as well. because you don't know where you're going to line up at. And a lot of these front shifts, they might move to a back front or a different, some type of odd front that might require you to play a different position. So you just got to be versatile.
Yes, sir.
You know, he reminded me when he talked about that of Rashawn Evans, you know, that played with Christian, came in with Christian in 2014.
I was just thinking that too.
Yeah, they moved him around because, you know, Bo knows this, you play with him. He, you know, they all came in Christian, Rashawn Evans, Keith Holcomb, and the other one was he ended up playing fullback, but it was Ronnie. What's Ronnie last name?
Ronnie Clark.
Ronnie Clark. So all four of them dudes came in, but you know, they were kind of versatile, and you know, they put him in the inside, they put him on the outside, kind of what Sterling is talking about. You know,
Ronnie Harrison, Steven.
Was it Ronnie Harrison?
Yeah. Okay. Ronnie Harrison.
Yeah, but having that versatility, that puts money in your pocket though as well in the long run. Because here's the thing about it: when a team drafts a kid, they're gonna draft a kid that they can see a high ceiling in. If they know you can play every position, every linebacker position and defensive end, that's a value. You're a value add at that point. So you're only putting money in your pocket by mastering every position at linebacker / defensive end.
Yeah, Coach Saban talks about all the time about creating value, right? You know, the more you can do, I remember coaches tell us that all the time. The more you can do, the more valuable you are. I love what you're saying. I love about the cool demeanor off the field, but when I'm on the field, I'm a dog, right? Because I like that. That's who I was. Because I was a quiet guy, didn't say too much, but man, when those lights came on, brother, something happened on the inside of me. I became, I want to kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? I had that too. Bro, I would do it all. So it was fighting, it was whatever. Man, it was like, man, I got to get this money. I got to take care of Emily. And brother, one thing you're not going to do, you could be more talented than I am. You could have been more smart, but you weren't going to outwork me, right? That's the thing. You got to have that mentality, especially today. You got to go, man, nobody going to outwork me. And that's just not on game day, because I believe that happens in the off season, happens in the weight room, it happened in your own personal time. I just kind of had that mindset when I was training and running that I'm going to be the hardest working dude in the country. I got drafted in the 6th round in 1991. I got hurt my knee my senior year, but I went back and looked at it, my whole 1991 draft class, how many years people played, how many years it started. And my career equated as a 1st round pick. So, that whole mindset, it didn't matter where I started. It's about how I finished, right? So it took that same kind of attitude, bro. And it seems like you got that, but I could turn it off the field too and be nice to people. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, because that's what mom and dad taught me to be. But, on the field, I'm going to try to choke you out. Yeah. I'm going to try to break your leg. That's just where it was, bro.
But you are 1,000% correct. This is the one game you're going to get out of it what you put into it. It's not like basketball or baseball where you can just solely rely on your athleticism. The game of football, you need mental and physical toughness as well as strength, because when you out there getting a grown man handing you your ass, if you hadn't put that work in the off season, all the talent in the world not going to help you.
And you got to have pride and effort as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, you benching 200 and you line up against somebody who benching 500, it ain't gonna work out the way you think it's gonna work.
Hey, nah, I've been
335. What's up? See?
He said 335.
The thing about it, that talent gap does this as you get higher and higher. Mm-hmm. That talent gap closes, so you got to find those little things that's gonna separate yourself from everybody else that you're currently playing with. Because, like I said, once you get to college, that gap gets smaller and smaller. So, yeah, just pure talent. It ain't like in high school now.
Most definitely.
Of course, we know Will Anderson's already gone to NFL, and people are already asking who's going to take his place. Of course, Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell, the obvious candidates, but they'll be gone after this next season. And then fans are going to start asking that question again. Who's going to be that next guy? Sterling, I'll be honest with you. We see you as him. Is that something you've already embraced, or have you even thought about it just yet?
Man, honestly, I'm going up in there trying to take it all. That's been the biggest thing on me. I'm trying to work like I'm going in next week. Like, I just been doing 3 days, trying to get serious with the linebacker position, and then just trying to just be able to do everything that the coach asked me to do. So I definitely been going in with that mindset, been praying about it, and I'm definitely trying to come up in there and take over.
Best advice I can give you: be humble and don't care about what nobody's name is. Meaning, when you walk in there, no matter who on the other side, whether it's Derrick Henry, Bo Scarborough, or Josh Jacobs, nobody's name should scare you. You should ring fear in their eyes. You take that mentality and humble, and you'll be just fine.
Most definitely.
We've already said some comparisons on the show, and of course, if you pick up any article, you can see numerous other comparisons. Is that something that you really embrace, or are you just so focused on being the next you instead of living up to what somebody else is labeling you as?
I just focus on being the next me. I'm just trying to be the best version of me that I can be. I do take small pieces of some other people's game and what they're strong at, and I just try to learn because you're never gonna get enough of learning. Somebody might do something else better than you, and I just try to take what they're doing better than me and implement it into my game. So that's really the biggest thing.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, you got to be you. He said that we tossed it out there today. You know, the best version of yourself, and that just means, hey, God gave me a great gift, right? He gave you a great ability, and you know, faith without works is dead. You got to put the work in. You got to, like we talked about earlier, you got to do all those different things, and you know, the academic part of it is important too. I mean, you know, like learning how to play the game, learning and studying your opponent, you know, finding out his weaknesses and how can I, you know, take advantage of certain things. I mean, because I played with a guy, Gary Reeses in New York. He played at Northwestern. Real smart guy. If you saw him at the combine or put him through drills, you'd be like, bro, this dude got a job? He couldn't move. He looked terrible just in clothes, right? But the dude was so smart. He played Mike linebacker for us. He was so smart. He knew everything about the offense, right? He knew everything about the guard he was going up against or tight end he had to run with down the seam. He knew every little intricate detail, and it helped them play the game so fast, right? He could beat people to the point. It's like, you know, secondary guys, right? When they understand and know, right, they can run the route for the receiver. You know, that's because they studied the game. You know, I want to ask you that, you know, what's your study habits like? Do you do these types of things? Are you a film junkie? Are you studying your opponent, you know, so that you can play that game even faster? You can anticipate.
Most definitely. When I'm on the edge, I'm looking at what stance they get in when it's running past, how the quarterback, just his progressions, just who he's looking at to throw the ball to first, how the running back lines up. So it's just the small things that can just make a big difference when you're on the field. So I look at pretty much all that, like the guard's his hand placement. If he's heavy, then that means it's gonna be run. If he's light, it's gonna be pass. So I try to look at all that.
Man, I love this dude. Man, come on, man. You made me want to start coaching you, man. So, you know, it's like you're smart, you just laid back, you're talking right, you're saying the right things. Let me ask you this. You mentioned pass rush. What's your favorite move? What's your pass rush?
See, it just depends on who I'm going against. Most guys will just get out there and do something, but like every pass rush move, I just pretty much set it up. First I go outside because I definitely think they're gonna think speed majority of the time. They're not gonna think power at all because I'm kind of a smaller guy. So I go outside the first time, and he'll think speed again and try to beat me to the spot, and then I'll be inside, and then he'll be like, "Oh, this man just all speed." So then I hit him with a power move. So I just like to play mind games with him, and that's about it.
I'll give you a tip to add to your toolbox. This is what made me the player that I was. My coach made me learn every personnel grouping on that field. When you learn those personnel groupings and you could identify who's covered up versus who's not, 9 times out of 10, you know what play going before the ball is even snapped. Yes, you learn them 2 things, and it's going to tell you a lot about what play is coming.
Question from the audience, Sterling from Van Edwards. How do you see yourself making the biggest impact on the defense? Your playmaking abilities, your leadership abilities, or is it just a combination of it all? What separates you from the pack?
I definitely feel like it's my leadership, and honestly, I'm willing to outwork the next man. That's what I feel like. I take pride in. I don't feel like nobody gonna outwork me. I feel like I'm always gonna be top tier when it comes to those things. I'm gonna do the extra stuff to get better, and I feel like I'm gonna just be a dog, and I'm gonna be the one to try to make every play. I never take a play off.
I have a question for you. So you're coming in. How you gonna start off being a leader? Like,
Just doing the little things. When coach asked me to do something, I'll make sure I'm one of the first ones to do it. In the linebacker room, I'm gonna be sitting in the front of the room answering all the questions, and then just make sure I'm listening and being attentive. I don't really got to say nothing. I just got to lead by my actions, and everybody else will follow.
Man, I was just about to say that, and I was about to say, I'm sure Mr. Miller would agree with this. To play linebacker, it ain't like any other position. Your actions is what everybody gonna look to for your leadership. It's your actions.
Because I was about to say, you don't. It's good to sit in the front of. It's good to sit in the front of the meeting room, but a leader can sit anywhere in the meeting room, and knows what he's talking about. And the leadership part come in, like you said at the end, action. Once you step a foot on that field, you don't have to say a word. Your play gonna speak for itself. So when it, like you said, you do everything 100%. So when it is time for you to step up and you do talk, then you're gonna have everybody attention because they know you mean business when you speak, because you're not one of those players, that you're not one of those leaders that's always talking and never backing it up on the field. And those are the type of leaders that people overlook, don't listen to, don't have no respect for, because they be the one that always talking, but when they get on the field, they don't show up when they supposed to show up. So I like your answer, what you said, that you're gonna lead by example before you even speak. Because I was one of those type of players when I got to Alabama. I did everything right, but I didn't sit in the front of the meeting room, but I did what I was supposed to do. I was on time and everything, you know what I'm saying? And I was one of those players that when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. When I say I'm not gonna do it, then I'm not gonna do it. And once I said that, I got a lot of respect, not only from the players, but from the trainers, from the coaches, from the people in the compliance office. But when I spoke, everybody shut up and listened and went off of what I said. For an example, we only carried 12 to 13 players on the leadership team, and we would have a leadership meeting with Coach Saban every other Thursday. And we would sit at the long table, and then Coach Saban sit at the end, and I sit beside Coach Saban, Minka sit across, and Sean Dion, and Calvin, and so forth on, Deron Payne, and all us in there. And and it was around the summertime, and Coach Saban was asking, what could we do to get these guys to buy into the program this coming fall? And a lot of guys run around the table and gave their explanation on what they think that we should do or whatever. So I came up with the idea of, I said, okay, cool. So since you bring the freshmen to your house 2 days before camp starts, to ride jet ski, shoot pool, play basketball games, have the family over, have a dinner, and you take them upstairs and you talk to them and you tell them what you expect. But you're talking to them from a coaching standpoint, and some of those guys don't understand what you're saying at the time, because they so young. So I said, why don't you have the leadership guys come over, do the same thing with them, but then when it's time to talk, you let your leadership guys talk after you talk. And then that way they'll have a better understanding of what to expect coming in, because they're hearing it from a player standpoint than a coaching standpoint, because coaches gonna make you feel like you have to basically be a robot, but that's not actually what they're saying. So what we did was we brought the freshmen in, and the leadership team went over there with them. We spoke, and everybody, all the leadership guys spoke, and I was the last one to speak. And I said, y'all guys just got out of school a month ago. You've been going to school from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. There's no reason that you should be late to a class that starts at 9 o'clock or even 10 o'clock and then get out at 9:50 or 10:50, and the class is right across the street from your dorm. There's no reason that you should miss that class. And that goes to shows responsibility. And that was something that Coach Saban agreed on. So what I go to say is, you go in and do what you're supposed to do, and let your actions speak for itself. Because how you carry yourself, that's how they gonna judge you over there. Because at Alabama, you being evaluated from the time you step into that building until the time you go home after study hall. Like, everything you do is going to be evaluated. Going to class, being late to class, being the one that stay in class, that never leave. Being the one that never get a point. Being the one that your name never come across Coach Saban desk for anything bad. Being the student athlete of the week. And that's how you take over the team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I ended up, taking over the team, being one of the players that took over the team, because I was one of those guys, and I was one of Coach Saban guys. So that's the best advice that I can give you going into a program like Coach Saban, because he believes in, if you can go to class, if I can't trust you to go to class on time or even go to class, how could I trust you on the field to know what to do and to be in the right position?
That, and remember this: linebackers and cornerbacks are the two most scrutinized positions on defense. Anytime you watch a football game, who do the commentators always point out? It's usually the linebackers or the cornerbacks. Just keep that in mind.
Most definitely. I got a question for y'all.
Oh.
What would you say is gonna separate me from the good and the greats when I get to college? Like, what's gonna help me take my game to that next level?
You asking me?
All of y'all. I got
That's a great question.
Well, I'll go first. To separate you from the rest of the guys, our workout used to start at 6 o'clock in the morning. I used to get there at 5:30. Me and Cole Cochran used to do a workout before we start working out.
Yes, sir.
And then after practice, we used to lift weights after practice. You didn't have to lift weights after practice. It was just something that I learned from Derek. I got it from Derek. And when you doing that, they're showing them that you want to be there. And I worked it with TJ on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I worked it with Coach Cochran's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And to separate yourself from those guys is doing extra, doing doing more than what they told you to do. Like, not only, okay, like they only told me I gotta do this. Well, like, yeah, they only told you that you gotta do that, but that just what they want you to do. What you gonna do for yourself to make yourself better? What you gonna work on that you didn't have a chance to work on in practice? Because when you're not working, someone else is getting better. So you have to think about that. You got to think about, do I want to be here for 4 years? Do I want to be here for 5 years? Or do I want to be here for 3 years? And if you want to be there for 3 years, you got to put the work in for 3 years. Because at Alabama, it's football year round. You only get, if you go to the national championship, you only get a week and a half off, and then you back working out, and then you go straight into a fourth quarter. Then after fourth quarter, you migrate into spring, and then you have a month off, and then you back at it June all the way until the national championship again. So you have to take your batting into quarters: first quarter, second quarter, halftime, third quarter, fourth quarter. So you have to train your body like that. Because if you train your body fourth quarter, by the time you make it through mid-season, your body you're gonna be breaking down because you've been going so hard for so long. Because it's a 12 game regular season, but it's a long season because you do so much. And that's what I say that separate yourself from other guys by doing things when no one is watching.
And that's the best advice for all. I mean, we would all say that, right? Because just outwork the next man. Work when they're not telling you to work. Self-evaluation, looking at you, studying you, and work on those things that you perceive as weaknesses. Make those things strengths. When you look at the great players, I mean, those that were gifted tremendously to LeBron James, to Michael Jordans, to Jerry Rice's of the world, Walter Payton back in the day, how they ran hills and sprint, and they did all this strenuous stuff where everybody else was still at the club partying, going on trip. They were working. So, are you willing, to pay the price? I mean, I use this in church, a sermon called "How Bad Do You Want It?" How bad do you want it? And if you want something really bad, when you want that girl that bad, you go out the way, you write them letters, you buy flowers, you hold it, you do whatever it took to get that girl, right? You would outwork the next person to make yourself show better. And the same attitude, the mentality is in your craft on the field. How bad you want it? You want to get to the NFL? Well, I can tell you it's going to cost you something. I can tell you you're going to have to do things that sometimes you don't want to do. I can tell you that you're going to have to do more than the next person. And the things that Bo was talking about, doing more, getting there earlier, staying late, doing the things. I'm a big put my goals down, put sticky things on your mirror. So every morning you get up, you see them. You see these goals. You see what I want to obtain. And then you go to work. And then at the end of the night, you go back to that mirror and you ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Did I do the necessary things to obtain these goals? These things keep you focused, right? You got to cut dudes off. They want to go party. They want to go to the club. They want to do this and that. Sometimes you got to say, no, dog, I got something better than that. And if they're not willing to go with you, cut them off. Same thing I've been talking about John Morant. He got hanger-oners, people, but he's great. But his boy's going to pull him down, right? $200 million. I mean, so it costs you something to be special. It costs you something to be great. Because in this league, what I can tell you, less than 1% make it. Every high school kid that, they put their hat on, I'm going to be here 3 to 4 years. Yeah. But that 1% make it? I mean, this is not an easy thing. You're doing something that 99% of folk can't do. So Am I willing to put the work in? Whatever it takes. Am I willing to do more? If you embrace that mindset, that attitude, brother, you got the God-given gift, faith, and works, it can be done. God bless you that you have, no injuries and things like that. You can accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
But you have to have the right mindset, the right heart. And from just listening to you today, I see that in you. I see that work in you.
And,
Well, I can tell you this.
Try to get that extra film and with coach. Even if he say, you know what I'm saying, I don't have time right now, can we do it tomorrow? Even if you never could get that chance to watch that film with coach, keep asking him, because they're gonna show him like he really want to learn, like he really want to be here. This guy, he really love football because he always want to watch film. He always want to see how could he get better. Even if you had a great practice and they told you that you did good, well, I want to see what I messed up on and I want to correct it so I won't make the same mistake again.
Yes, sir.
And those the ones that they put ahead of the team. Like, I know Sterling gonna do what he's supposed to do. I don't have to worry about Sterling. Like, I don't have to get on to him. If he make a mistake, I know that he know how to fix it. Because at Bama, if you make a mistake, they down your throat. Like they motherfucking you the whole practice. Like, off of one play that happened way at the beginning of practice. Because one thing they trying to do is they trying to see how mentally strong you will. They trying to see, is that one play gonna hinder your whole game? That's what they trying to do. They trying to see, can you move past that play? And that's why we always say, so what, you fumbled the ball? What you gonna do about it? So what, you dropped it? What you gonna do about it? So what, you got the ball? So what, you got the ball caught on you? What you gonna do about it? You gonna hold that rope? Like Marvin them said, Marvin them had hold the rope since 1997, 1998, and it's still going today and in 2023. And we still say hold that rope. As long as you hold that rope, you're a part of that team.
And to be successful at this level, this is the best advice I can give you. When I came along, that's when you begin to see the evolution of the spread offense. That's when you see Coach Spurrier running those 4 and 5 wides at Florida, and you started to see a lot more teams adopt those principles. So the best advice I can give you is, yes, be in shape. But at the end of the day, what's going to save you and what's going to make you better than everyone else is what I told you earlier. Learning those formations and what comes off those formations. Because when you understand what the different personnel groupings tell you, whether somebody's on the ball or off the ball, that's going to dictate what type of two-man game you might run and pass and receivers off, or who's going to blitz based upon who's eligible to run a route or not. Because if tight end's covered up, he can't run downfield. It's also going to tell you what they're running in terms of screen game. If their back is 1 by 1 behind their quarterback, we know it's screen draw. It's so many little things that come off those personnel groupings. If they tight to the ball, you already know they're running the bubble screen to the field, to the bound, away from the hash mark. It's so many little things that once you understand what those different personnel groupings mean, I promise you, 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you what play is coming if you truly study and you learn those personnel groupings.
Guys, I appreciate that. We're going to press pause into action because it's time for Stephen M. Smith to take over the platform. It's time for the depth chart.
Hold on. Time out.
Hold on.
When did he get a whole intro?
Hey, look.
I didn't call HR.
Justin know how serious this is, and I appreciate that. Justin knows how serious this is.
I need to call HR.
I appreciate that.
After all he's put up with.
To start the depth chart conversation, we're going to open things up with Tony Mitchell, who came as a 5-star defensive back from Thompson High School. We know Tony Mitchell back in March got involved in a situation down there in Florida. But it seems like there is some light at the end of the tunnel for Tony Mitchell. So the reports that are coming out right now is he's going to take a plea of no contest. So with him taking this plea, he's going to be looking at probation and drug counseling. Probation and drug counseling is what he's looking at. So he gets that. He will more than likely serve a 2 to 4 game suspension or whatever suspension Coach Saban would give him at the beginning of the season, which means Tony Mitchell could play somewhere toward the middle back.
Oh, his mic froze.
Tony Mitchell right now, there's starting to become some light here at the end of the tunnel with him taking this plea no contest. So right now it's looking like he will get the drug counseling and also the probation. So that's there for Tony Mitchell.
I already know where he going.
Enlighten
You
us,
gonna
Bo.
give him directions?
Huh?
Nah.
I ain't giving no direction. I'm not telling you where he gonna be at, but I already know where he gonna be at.
Tell me you've been to the program without telling me you've been to the program.
Not only that, Stephen, we had some good news. We had a recent commitment. If you would talk about this next coming of Quinnen Williams, as they're labeling him.
Ooh.
Stephen
Afro Smith.
Well, Bama did get another commitment for 2024. Recent young man, Jeremiah Beaman, Parker High School in Montgomery, defensive end, 6'5". The guy's got a non-stop motor. Now, the question is going to be, can he get a bit better in his pass rush? Can he get a bit better in the run stopper? He's got some tools, but got to continue to refine those tools over there at Parker High School. But he's working with a good guy that I know, Leonard Stevens, Coach L, step-by-step performance in Birmingham. So he's got a good guy in his ear. He's got a good guy in his corner, working with him, training with him. But to get Jeremiah Beaman along with Jalen Mbakwe in this 2024 class, you got Julian Sand in this class, the quarterback from California. Got a lot of good kids in this class. But for Beaman, he's got some tools that Marvin's been talking about. He's got some tools in that toolbox, but there's still a couple of more things that he's got to refine. And I think this upcoming season, high school, he'll start to refine those even more.
That's what's up. And I'm waiting for Stone to come back in. He had to grab a charger. He was experiencing some technical difficulties. While we wait on him, I want to pose a question to everybody here on the panel. As we know, Coach Saban, throughout his tenure at Alabama, each, decade has taken on a certain persona. When he first got there, it was the ground and pound. It was beating people up in the trenches. And then he adapted and moved on to that air raid, if you will, the more exciting Julius murder ball offense, where we're averaging 30 to 40 points a game. So now as we move into this phase of his career, many think probably is the last phase. What persona does this phase take on? But I'll start with you, being as that Coach Saban the most. As he enters into the last phase of his career, what does this persona look like? You're on mute, sir.
He's pausing for effect.
I think that Coach Saban is a very scripture guy. So Coach Saban gonna do everything the same. Like he's not gonna change up anything. And the only way how he would change, we seen the spread, we seen the West Coast offensive side that he ran. But if you go back and watch film during those games, he always went back to where he started at. We just didn't have the running backs in the offensive line to pursue that type of offense that we wanted, because we didn't have guys that can get a hat on a hat and can drive a guy back 2 to 3 yards in a running back that can come in and make, run between the tackles and, find a hole and fall for 5 yards and make it 2nd and 2. You know what I mean? So I don't think that, Coach Saban will change anything of his persona or anything like that. I just think that he's gonna get the coaches back to I think that he's gonna get the coaches back to where he wanted to be. I think that Coach Saban, he's gonna go back to the old Coach Saban where he's, up and down their throat. And one thing about it, he's not gonna fuss. He's not gonna fuss at the coaches at practice. But if it's something that they done in the game and that something that we have practiced and went over all week that he had emphasized from day one and get in the game and still fuck up the same thing that he been preaching the whole week, that is when he go crazy. So I think that for this so-called new team that we have by going to the transfer portal and taking guys from JUCO, and we have a lot of freshmen. I think that Coach Saban is gonna go back to the fourth quarter mentality, and that is effort, discipline, pride, commitment, and I think that he gonna stand on it, and I think that he gonna tell every guy you have to stand for something, and everyone have to do their job. In order to play at Alabama, you have to do your job and you have to be consistent. And the expectation over there is very high. I don't think that he gonna lower the expectation at all. I think he's gonna make it even harder for these guys simply because they're young. And like he said, we in their rebuilding mode. So Coach Saban is, I think he's gonna be tougher than he were a few years ago because of the type of players that we have now, and he see the potential that we have. So I think that he gonna be more focused on getting these guys um, ready than focusing on their talent, which we have a bunch of talent. We have a lot of depth to where one guy go down that the next guy can come in and be better than the starter. I think that we starting to get back to that Alabama because of the young guys and everybody competing for a spot. So by these guys competing, that's only gonna make the team better because at this point, like he said, no one have a starting job yet. Like no starter have been mentioned at all. This in the summertime. So at this point, guys is gonna have to fight their asses off to get that starting position. And what I mean by that is they're gonna have to come to practice every day ready to compete, and they're gonna have to be ready to put up a dog fight. And they can't make a mistake, because once you make that one mistake, you tomorrow you're gonna be at number 2. And sometimes you make that mistake, he gonna send you over to scout team just to see your mental. What type of player are you? If because he did it to me. I was running with the ones, doing great. Then mess up, hitting the hole, down here, real powerful, breaking tackles, not stopping, had a great practice. And the next day, I was over at the scout team, and I was a scholarship guy. And in my head, I'm like, I just did a great job with the one. Like, why am I on the scout team? Like, why I'm running with the scout team? And LT, he was over there at the scout team with me at the same time. And I remember like it was yesterday. And LT told me, he said, they're just trying to see what type of player you are. They're trying to see how mentally strong you are. Is you a type of player that get moved from number one to scout team is you gonna put your head down and say forget it and not be bought into the program, or is you gonna be that type of player that you were yesterday, come in, run the ball the same way you did, but even running harder because you on scout team. And that
It's got to get better. I agree with Bo to a large degree, but I think you're going to see a combination. And here's what I mean by that. One of the things that I'm going to talk about tomorrow, Christian, on the show is basically what I see in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, the Bama standard. What is it? What is the Bama standard? And if they lost it, how do you get that back? What I see, what I've seen since 2014, since I've been following this program, the standard was old school mentality, run the football, big physical offensive line, make people quit, in the fourth quarter. Defense, make them pay a price. Great tackling, pass rushers, the secondary that was physical. Last couple of years, I can say I haven't seen that. I know what that standard is to a degree, but I will say this, it's been hard to continue that standard because I think the culture and the standard, if you will, was hard to keep because of the turnover in coaching. I think every year you have coaches come and they go. And, you talked about the air raid offense. Well, let's get to that. We got, went from Jalen to Tua, and let's sling it all over the park. And we had, Locks at coordinator. We had Lane Kiffin at the coordinator. We have, different guys. It seems like every year there's a turnover. Defensively, there's turnover.
Nobody came for Pete.
No. But and the thing is this, guys, it's hard to continue a culture when you got so much change. And so now I see Coach Saban saying, you know what? I got to go find some guys that understands this Bama standard, this culture. Let me go back and get Kevin Steele, who was here, who gets it, who understands it, who can get that physicality back on defense, right? That we can create an identity again of what Bama defense is all about. Because in the years past, it was about Bama's defense. It was about, this is Nick Saban's defense. We don't give up points. You can't run the ball on us, right? This was going on for years. These defensive linemen took pride in stopping the run. And the last couple of years, we've seen the defensive line get their butts knocked off the ball. We've seen Ole Miss still running football on Alabama's defense last year. We've seen linebackers arm tackling. That's not the Bama standard.
And they hired Pete.
That was a problem. And I believe that players take on the mentality, the personality of the coach. And they were taking on Coach Golden's personality, which was not the Bama standard. That's why we got Kevin Steele coming back. You got Tommy Reese, who's got the mindset of big offensive line, tight ends, big backs, running the ball downhill, making people quit and winning the game in the fourth quarter and 4-minute offense. So to answer your question, Justin, we're going to see a combination because you got to have some wide open stuff. You got to be able to score points in the game today, right? You're going to win the LSU games like we've seen in years past, 6-3 or 13-6. You got to be able to throw the ball down the field. You got to have wide receivers that can create and get separation, run after the catch. You got to have all that. But when all boiled down to it, if they had a 4-minute offense against against Tennessee last year, they would have been probably in the national championship game. But they had an offensive line that couldn't move people. They couldn't run the ball. They had a defense that gave up too many big plays.
Mr. Miller, you give up more than 21 points, you deserve to lose.
I agree. So the question is, what is the standard? And if it is this Bama standard that Bo was talking about, then how can they get that back?
And what better person to answer that question than Sterling? Sterling, the younger players.
Oh, man, you're not going to let me give my answer?
I'm going to let you give your answer, but, he is already talking about that. And I thought Sterling could piggyback off of it because it directly applies to him. As I was saying before, Marvin interrupted because he's so bitter
I wanted
about
him to
having
hear
intros.
my answer.
Okay.
After he finishes, Marvin, relax.
Sterling, the younger players, including your class, seem to get it right now. They're taking charge. They've taken on the mantle of returning us to the Bama standard. What about the 2023 class and now your class has made y'all decide to take that on and take us back to being the Bama standard?
I think everybody in my class, everybody's just looking forward to the summer goal, which is a national championship. They know Bama used to do that, and that's what we're used to seeing. So for me, I know everybody there wants to be the best, wants to go to the NFL, and wants to get better. So I know they're gonna develop me. The coaches gonna push me, and the players beside me gonna help me get better each and every day, and just demand me to be the best. So that's really what we coming in to do. We just coming in to turn the program around and just work hard as we can.
Now, Marvin, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, it's my time.
It's your time.
All right. Let me start by saying this first and foremost. I don't care about recruiting titles. I don't care about having #1 recruiting class year in, year out. I don't care about having a 5-star rate. I don't care about none of that because I've seen guys come in that were 5 stars that played like they were no stars. I've seen guys that were 2 and 3 stars play their asses off. At the end of the day, you look at the 2022 team, which was supposed to have been, quote unquote, the best team of the Saban era, and they pissed it down their leg the majority of the season. They win too many close games, and they lost games they should have won. But again, they shouldn't even been games. You want to make a change, it starts with you and everyone on that plays with you. No matter who coaches you, until it becomes personal, it's not going to change. You got to want it. You got to own it. You got to put the work in. If you don't want it, you don't own it, and you don't put the work in, nothing will ever change. Because, again, it don't matter who is the coach. If you and the guys around you aren't doing what they need to do every day, 365 days a year, it's not going to make a difference. It's going to make a difference. You got to own it. You got to own it. You got to put the work in. Hold your brothers accountable. Go out there on Saturdays. Do what you do, and don't cost me no money.
We had the best recruiting class coming in.
Cause I'm gonna bet on y'all. I bet on Bama every Saturday.
We had the best recruiting class coming in. 2014 was the best recruiting class in Saban era.
I'm gonna jump in here in terms of Justin's question on the phase that Saban's in. I'm gonna just say this, and I was out there at the Saban charity golf tournament today. Saban's in the phase now where he's reinvesting back into the program. Like, you're seeing so many former players back. I talked to Clinton Dix today, and just the excitement in his face. I mean, I'm talking to Christian Jones today, the excitement in his face. You know, I'm talking to Denzel Duvall and Josh Chapman and just so many former players that are back in this building. The excitement that's on their face, like they know, like, we back in here for a purpose. We back in here to get this to where we had it at and to get this brought back to where it needs to be brought back at. So the phase that Saban's in now, he's in the phase where he understands I got to reinvest back in my program. I got to get the players that played for me that understand what the grind is, what the blood is, what the sweat is, what the tear. I got to get them dudes back in here and have them reach them, because if they can reach them, they can be reached. So that's what Saban's doing. He's reinvesting back in this thing.
Marvin, did you get invited?
Not to cut you out.
You gotta want it. You gotta own
get
it,
invited?
and you gotta put the work in. Those are the 3 things that it takes to be successful. And again, it doesn't matter who's coaching. If the players don't want it, don't own it, and don't put the work in, it ain't gonna happen.
What who all he done added to the staff besides HaHa? I know Josh Chapman.
HaHa's there. Josh Chapman's there. Duvall is there. I know Christian Jones may be there to help out, here and there.
Christian Jones
not been added to the staff.
Christian Jones is he's the receiver coach at Central.
Okay.
And then and to answer your question, Mr. Miller, they didn't call me. I might be I might be a little, too rough around the edge. I might be a little too abrasive.
Man.
And I make a coach's salary working from home every day, chilling. So I'm good.
Okay. Wait.
Let me tell you this: if any team called Marvin, he got to be making $1 million or more for him to move.
That's the truth.
And he got to have several days of vacation time. That's got to be in there.
And he has to have
high maintenance, bro.
And he has to have the last say so. Everything has to be evolved around him.
Now, I ain't gotta have the last say so, but I'm gonna need a lot of days off though. Yeah, I'm gonna need that part.
Oh, you want free money? Get what you want. You want free money.
No, I work hard for my money, but I will say this: I was an intern at Alabama on the staff in 2009. Man, them 20-hour days that didn't work for me. That's when I learned I wasn't cut out for coaching. Like, I'm gonna let this IT degree that I have go. I'm gonna let this go work for me.
And you don't need to be mentioning no gambling with an incoming player. And all the problem that we've had with Bama players with talking about gambling and the baseball coach. Please disregard that statement, Strong.
Yeah,
disregard out and block that out. Cut it out the tape. Whatever you got to do. You know better than that.
No, he doesn't. He really doesn't.
Okay, you know.
I said it don't cost me no money.
Guys, we have come up to the end of our show. Before we head on out, we're going to pass that around the room, let everybody do their thing. Starting with Marvin Constant. Marvin, what you got going on with 40 Plus Strong, and how can they get their hands on everything?
You want to get a copy of the book is on. You can get go to my Instagram, Constant45. The link is on there to Amazon. But more than anything, man, I'm just at a point to where, with this whole knee replacement situation, most people will never understand what that journey is like, and every week it feels like I've unlocked a new chapter. So we finally got to a point where I say 2 or 3 months ago, I thought I was 100%, but I feel so much better every week. And the only downside to it is as that knee starts to get better, it makes me realize how bad what I thought my good knee was really is bad. So, it's just a struggle, just finding that balance. And, if you have injuries, you're going to compensate for them. So just, find that balance within yourself so that you don't hurt yourself, because that's the latest thing that I've been fighting with, not hurting what I thought was my good knee, now that the knee replacement knee has truly taken over.
That's what's up. Bo, you got a lot of things going on. If you would start out with telling the fans about your show, which can be seen right here tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, the developmental focus points. Bo, take the baton.
Well, you already told them that part. I can't even tell them because you already told them.
I'm just falling short all day today.
Yeah, you've been falling short all day today. Tomorrow, you guys, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, the developmental focus point with Blake Sam, Trent Richardson, Kristen Jones, and myself. And we're gonna be talking about developing kids and the next step, what it takes to get to the next level. And this week we will be playing in Birmingham against the Breakers. This is a chance for us to be the number 2 seed at the moment if we beat the Breakers. So we need everybody to come out and support us for the Birmingham Stallions. Also the rep for the Birmingham Stallions and the spokesman for the Birmingham Stallion. I'm also on the committee team for the USFL PA. And I mentioned something earlier about the CBA. So I'm gonna keep that closed until that come out. And make sure you guys go to my website, Scarborough.com. It's around that time. It's starting to get hot. So make sure you guys order you some t-shirts, and for the girl, make sure you get you some leggings. Guys, shorts will be coming available real soon. And if anyone out there looking for someone to mentor them, to steer them in the right direction, I'm a guy that you can reach out to. You can reach out to me on Instagram. It's the one that I respond the most to, and that is Bo Scarborough with the blue check beside it, because it's a lot of guys that have made fake pages of me thinking that it's me. And yeah, that's about it, man. Hopefully you guys come out and support the Birmingham Stallions. We really need you. It's gonna be real big, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button tonight. And tomorrow, don't forget about the developmental focus point with me, Trent Richardson, Blake Sim, and Christian Jones. It's gonna be a very, very great show. And this show is gonna help a lot of kids, and also gonna help a lot of parents to learn the recruiting process of football, basketball, or whatever the sport may be. We can help you out in all those aspects. The only thing you have to do is ask a question, and we will fully respond with all the knowledge that we have. But other than that, we will be speaking strictly about developing kids and steering them in the right direction. And that's all I have, man.
That's what's up. Stephen M. Smith, and we'll go to Corey and then finish up with Sterling.
Well, Bo, before I get into what I do, I just want to say this, man. Can you please get Alex Magoo? Like, Magoo need to have every game where he playing well, because sometimes I look at Magoo, I'm like, Magoo got it. Even other games, I'm like, what is you doing? So please talk to your boy Magoo. So he played right here against the Breakers. But in terms of me, we got In My Own Words tomorrow, 6:30 for TDA Central Time. We're going to definitely get into, I get a little bit of the recap of Coach Saban and the 18 holes of golf he had today. We'll dive more into just guys in summer training, summer workouts, who can be the guys that can really step up and take ownership of this team, because this is one year where, I mean, the position groups are wide open. You're open at quarterback, you're open at receiver, you're open at linebacker, you're open in the secondary. So if you want to play ball, if you want to start and spot, the competition's wide open. So it's going to be a whole lot of conversation of who ready, who want it, who going to grab it.
That's
I don't mean to cut you off, Steve, but all 22 positions is open at the moment.
Hey, they all open, try.
Well said.
They are.
Corey, you got the floor, sir. Tell everybody about your podcast and what you got coming on next.
We're on Tide 100.9, Christian and I, 11 o'clock Central, it'll be 12 o'clock Eastern time here, my time in Columbia, South Carolina. 1 hour show called The Miller's Edge. Same thing with the podcast, but now we're focusing on the radio show. Again, there's no political correctness there, Mr. Marvin Constant, okay? We bring the heat. We set the edge, baby.
I'm going to tune in.
We're linebacker. Sure. We set the edge, and we bring a rush, mad rush. Got me? You dig? I know you could. Okay, so we got that every day.
Where you from saying you dig?
I'm straight country South Carolina, bro.
Okay. When you say you dig, I thought you
dig.
Hey, but, Corey, I'm gonna be watching this because I recently, think about a couple of years or so back, had a show with Tide 100.9. So, I brought that non-politically correct stuff in there. They kind of looked at me crazy. I kept doing my thing. So I'm proud of you and Christian. Y'all continue that. Do y'all thing.
Well, listen, man, I'm about being fair. I mean, people deserve to that's why you want athletes on shows, right? You give your opinion and your thoughts, and you don't have to be cruel. You don't have to go and wear political shirts, Marvin, and make things personal. You can still have a strong opinion and be fair, right? And so I'm never going to attack a kid or anything like that. But I will say, hey, the coaching was not good. I don't have a problem with that. Heck, they know it was not good. So
and that's what my shirt said. My shirt said the coaching.
Yeah, but you didn't have to advertise that. You didn't have to go out there. Come on now. Listen, but we on every day. We're going to have a fun show. We had Keith Holcomb on today. One of Bo's teammates came in with Bo in 2014, and Christian talked about some baseball and some football. So that was a fun show. We're gonna get you on there, Steve. We're gonna get all you guys on there. But my Twitter, Pastor Painted 57, Pastor Painted 57. You can follow me there. Of course, I do more in football. I talk about ministry, and I do the same thing with Bo. Giants for Christ Ministries. What you see, where's that right there? I work with young men, mentoring through Christian Fellowship. So that's what I do. That's my real job, if you will, my real calling. But I do this right here just for the fun of it, because I love the sport of football and all sports. But that's where we'll be. Sterling, man, it's a pleasure talking with you, brother. And I can tell you, I'll be definitely praying for you and hoping that God just give you just great opportunities to do great things. And it sounds like that's where you're going. And I'm sure I'll see you around when I'm in Tuscaloosa. So good luck with everything, man. Stay strong, stay focused. Try to avoid the distractions, because they're going to be there. Anytime you trying to do something great, you best believe distractions are going to show up. And sometimes those distractions come close to you, like family and friends. So just be aware of that, and continue to, man, keep your eye on the prize. And I kind of say it like those horses. If you ever go to Charleston, South Carolina, they give tours with those horses. They have blinders. And they have those blinders there so they can't see the periphery, on the right or to the left, cars driving by, because those horses would freak out. And sometimes when you're trying to get to that goal, you got to put blinders on. I mean, I can stay focused on the prize. So I just say, man, put blinders on, stay focused on the prize, go do you, and trust God, believe in the Lord, and He'll take you places that you never dreamed. So I really am encouraged by talking with you. So I know great things are coming.
Hey, Justin. Hey, Justin. Can I say something? That what he just said.
Yeah, go right ahead, and then we'll turn over to Sterling.
Comparing to Christian, I don't think that there's anyone that can be compared to Christian Miller, because he just made me thought about it when he said the blindfolded where you can only see straight ahead. Christian Miller was one of those type of guys that came in, wasn't the biggest linebacker, skinny, slim, and one thing I can say about Christian Miller is that guy worked very hard. Even on our off days, Christian was in that weight room getting stronger. And if you go back and you look at his pictures when he first got into college, and you look at his pictures when he was a senior in college, totally different guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that because he put the work and the effort in to get to where he are and became the type of player that he were.
Yeah.
Because he was one of the guys that first beginning of practice couldn't get around Cam, couldn't get around none of those guys. And I think Christian Miller had in his head that he can't let that get done to him every day. And I think that, and I'm just speaking off of what I saw. I don't know how he was thinking of what he done, but it was like he cut that light on and he never cut it off. And because that guy got bigger, he got more versatile, being able to move with all that weight and being able to hold that tackle with one hand to contain that outside and not get reached. So I just wanted to say that because I can't compare anyone to Christian because of all the hard work that he have done to become that player that he were. You know what I'm saying? By usually he couldn't extend with one hand and still be able to contain the outside with the other hand. Like he became stronger in 2 years, and I saw the difference. And
it's crazy. 212 pounds.
yeah,
6'4", 212 when he came to Alabama and left at 247.
You know why? Because it comes down to the three things that I always tell people, no matter what part of life you in. You got to want it. Then once you want it, you got to own it. And once you own it, you got to put the work in. He did all three.
yeah.
When you do all three of those, no matter what your goal is in life, you're going to be successful in it.
Amen.
But you can't leave off one of those steps, because if you leave off one of those steps, you're going to be missing something. You got to go through all three phases.
And
You got to want it. You got to own it. When I say own it, that means you're taking full responsibility for everything that's going to come with you wanting this goal to make it happen. And once you accept that, you got to go put that work in.
No doubt. All right, Sterling, that leaves you. Tell people what you got coming up next. I know you got a big summer before your senior year officially starts. What's going on there? And then how can folks find you on social media?
Can't wait for this season. Feel like it's gonna be a great season for me. I only got 6 months until I leave. Looking forward to it, but I'm just trying to keep my mind where my feet is. So I'm trying to take it day by day, get better, and then just really work harder. But y'all can find me at Dixon1 on Instagram and Twitter. And I just want to say thank you guys for having me. I learned a lot, and I appreciate you for the advice.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Enjoy high school, man. It's going to go by fast. And when it's over, it's over.
Most definitely.
You're such inspiration.
Don't listen to Marvin's gambling tips.
Hey, I'll save those for the season. Don't worry.
Just a couple of program notes again. Catch Bo Scarborough show tomorrow night. The developmental focus points, 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Tonight, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. The final whistle with Matt Cadell, Coach Smook, Chris James, and Dan James will be going on live. Also, we're going to be shaking things up here at the Bama Standard. Here, great things involving you, the fans. New segments, one of which is going to be called the Fans Ask segment. That's where we take the top fan of each week and let y'all come on live with us to ask a question of the panel and debate whatever that question is. If you feel like you were that top fan, send us an email, thebamastandard@gmail.com. I expect a lot of things in my inbox coming up, but that's going to do it for us. Thank you again, Corey Miller. Thank you again, Sterling Dixon. We greatly appreciate you guys being here. Roll Tide, everybody.
And don't forget tomorrow, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, the developmental focus point.